Am I an a-hole for coming up sa gay at the funeral? Two weeks ago, I, 25, went to the funeral with my uncle when he was 54. He and I were really close and his passing has been hard on me. When I realized I was gay, my uncle was the first person I told. I knew he was one of the only people who still loved me even if I wasn't going to end up married to a girl. He helped me get over my crush on the first boy. He talked with him about the ways to help my family understand my sexuality. And one time, about a month before he died suddenly, I was feeling inadequate and said that everybody would hate me after I came out. My family is a bit homophobic. He sat me down and said, "You will always be the same person you were before you came out. You'll still be smart, compassionate, and easygoing, but you'll be more free. You won't be hiding yourself. And you know what? People will appreciate that. Your family loves you and they all want you to be free in any way you can." What he said shook me to my core. It completely changed my view in coming out. The day he said it to me, I called my parents and said I was gay. I went over pretty smoothly, and I feel free. My uncle encouraged me to come out to a large extended family, and I was planning to do it so. But then he passed away. During the funeral, we had a bit of time where people could stand up and share memories about Uncle. A lot of stories centered on how he changed their lives for better. I hadn't planned to tell the story of my uncle's support in my sexuality, but at the funeral, I became emotional about how important his support was. During my turn to talk about him, I told the story about his support over the years and the speech that I mentioned above. And just like that, I had come out to my entire extended family. People were shocked to hear that I was gay. Nobody was homophobic to me, at least outwardly. But at the reaction, a lot of people came up to me and accused me for making my uncle's funeral all about me. My cousin compared what I did to proposing at somebody's wedding. My mom also told me that it was inappropriate and I should have waited for the better occasion. I believe that I was telling that story, coming out of his way to honor my uncle, but I've been dwelling on it, and I think I may have been an coming out during his funeral. Am I? Am I an a-hole for bringing my BF to my sister's wedding? I'm 15 and my BF is 16 and we've been dating since freshman year and I like him a lot. I've been out since middle school and apparently my older sister, 20, didn't tell her fiancé this before he came out to meet our family. He was constantly weirded out whenever he saw me, especially if my BF was around and were showing affection, and would sometimes make comments when no one was around. Like constantly asking me if I like any girls and telling me he has a niece that could straighten me out. Or he constantly slaps my back hard. And he never acknowledges my BF, always referring him as a friend. Well, a week before our wedding, he basically came up to me and told me I wasn't allowed to bring my friend. Well, day yesterday I decided Screwhead brought him anyways. At the reception, a bunch of his family came asking my dad and my sister why I was allowed to bring a boy as my date. Apparently, he never said anything to my sister about it. And accusing me of tainting an otherwise good wedding. My dad told them that and they got into a huge argument and caused us to end up the reception early with my sister upset and her husband. Am I the a-hole? Added. Yes, my BF was already originally invited. My sister didn't know her husband had uninvited him, nor about most of the stuff he did. Am I the a-hole for kicking out my mother and disabled sister out of my home? I'm 21 and I own my own place. I have lived here for a while now and I love my own peace, living myself with no children or spouse. My mom 41 wasn't the best when I was growing up. She would bring men in and out of the home. I'm glad nothing happened to me, but it gave me a bad view of her once I grew up and not a good relationship along with it. I have a sister 22 who is disabled physically and mentally. I grew up with her, but it was extremely hard to form a relationship with her. I had to take care of her a lot growing up because my mom wouldn't do anything of it due to my mom wilding around. My sister and I shared a room growing up and I hated every second of it, I'm going to be honest. My mom has been renting for a place to live a few months ago and she can't live there anymore. My sister still lives with her. And my mom doesn't take care of her actively, she pays for a caregiver. My mom guilt-tripped me in her and my sister living with me temporarily for a month. I eventually said yes, it was fine for the first few days. My mom and my sister have been living here for now 3 months. My mom only said 1 month. I have to work a lot, so I'm barely there anyways. But when I have days off, I hate every fucking second of it. I know my sister cannot help it, but she makes noises, a lot of noises, loud noises, and it's like I can hear it everywhere. Caregivers still care of her, but it's still like having complete strangers in my home. Long story short, on my day off of hearing everything and the noises of tantrums, I went insane and snapped. I told my mom she has to leave. She refused to leave at first, but eventually she did. The last thing she told me was, "You're supposed to be grateful and you have home to live in. You can't give it back. You're a bitch and always have been." I eventually told her just to leave, and my mom got my sister and they both left. I feel like I'm completely a-hole because of the fact that I told her to leave just because I was tired of my sister, even though she cannot help it at all. Am I the a-hole?